to you live by Mercury.
Oh, have a look at it. One of the greatest places to go fishing on the face of the planet. That is the St. Lawrence River. Also, we have in play Lake Ontario. It is the 2020 SiteOne Bassmaster Elite. Third stop of the year for the best in the business, the Bassmaster Elite Series. And we are going to head into 2 more hours of Bassmaster live coverage for you right now. Paul Mueller of Connecticut, not that far away, is the man who sits atop the leaderboard with a most impressive 26 pounds. Chris Johnston had the early lead today from right across the border in Canada. And Brock Mosley of Mississippi is in second place. Clark Wendlandt of Texas, Clifford Perch from Arizona. They're from all over the map. They have come here for the fantastic fishing. That's why we're here to show it to you at this very, very important tournament. Tommy Sanders and Mark Zona as we head into our Humminbird Lay of the Lake.
Exactly right. Probably the biggest playing field on the Bassmaster Elite Series. And really, here's the deal. Half of Lake Ontario and half of the St. Lawrence River is Canadian water. Our anglers cannot go into Canadian waters with all the regulations right now. So really anywhere in New York, Lake Ontario, anywhere you want to be, a big playing field, but a rough one out there in Lake Ontario. Not today, but as you go into the St. Lawrence River from Cape Vincent all the way to our takeoff there in Clayton, New York, and you kind of get into the Alexandria Bay, a lot of history there with the Bassmasters, up into Morristown, Ogdensburg, all the way to Messina. Like I said, about 100 miles of St. Lawrence River and hundreds of miles of Lake Ontario. That is your Humminbird Lay of the Lake. But, my friend, this is moments ago. 3 catches out on the water right now, Bassmaster.
Live, Corey Johnson, Micah Frazier, Jeff Gustafson, all at once hooked up here.
Might be a bit of a helper, but it's not a giant.
Corey Johnston really has lived in the Lake Ontario region almost the entire day. His brother Chris Johnston started in the river, made his way out to Lake Ontario.
No.
Micah Frazier, your 2019 champion here on the St. Lawrence River. Slow day, but steady. Caught a couple big ones right before our intermission.
Jeff Gustafson trying to crack into that top 20. Might be able to do it here. He's able to make a significant call. Johnston in 32nd place, but he's out here where, as you say, things can happen very quickly. Saw him happen very quickly for his brother before we went to our midday break. Glad you're back with us. We're here for another couple of hours, ready to take you all the way to 3 o'clock. That's weigh-in time in Clayton, New York. You'll see the official weights and standings from day number 1.
This light line kills you.
Johnston's got a 2-pounder in the boat there. This one's got a little bit of meat on him here. It might make for a cull. Let him a half a pound or so. Maybe even more than that as we look at it. Yeah. Going to gain him a little bit there. Corey Johnson again trying to. Of course, job one for the first 2 days is stay in the top 40. The top 40 will be the only ones progressing to the weekend for fishing, and of course only the top 10 make it to the final day. Greg DePalma, check in with him right now. DePalma had a pretty decent morning. Was able to keep the fish catching pretty steady.
Today's been a work hard kind of day. I mean, you really got to work to get a bite. It's been tough on me anyway. I mean, I got some fish in there. I think I'm probably one good bite off of having a pretty solid day, you know, comparable, whether it's par or it's above par. Like I said, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot by saying this, but I think the weights are going to be down from last year. I just do. And not only the hard part is, you know, doing it one day, you got to do it for 4 days. You really got to have something figured out really, really good, I feel like, in this tournament, or you got to be lucky. I'm just looking for one more 4-pounder right now. I feel pretty good if I get it. Even a 3-pounder right now will help me tremendously. I mean, that one fish is little. I just feel like this is the area, my best bet to get a big fish. Somewhere's in this area. Let's go do that first drift over we did when we first got here. There's a fish. Felt right.
Well, you heard Greg DePalma needs one more really good one. He thinks to have a good competitive bag. He's hanging in there in the top 20 right now. As we say, he's been catching them fairly steady all day long. Let's take a look at the man who won here in 2013. That was quite an experience. He's got 3 Elite Series wins. Does Brandon Pollanick, who came here as the national champion of Bass Nation, made his debut at the Bassmaster Classic in New Orleans. 2012 up at Bull Shoals Lake. He found a sunken bridge and went to town.
It really does not seem that long ago that we started covering Brandon Pollanick. I believe the first time was in Lake Katawachi.
Yes, that's right.
In New Orleans, at the Bassmaster Classic. But it was this tournament right here in the St. Lawrence River that we actually commentated together and both felt, along with the rest of the field, that he would not pull it off, running all the way from Waddington into Henderson Bay, which is about a 75 to 85 mile long run in very, very high waves.
Coming on the heels of getting a day almost disqualified and losing out at his chance in the previous tournament. It was really quite a phenomenon. In 2017, of course, he wins this big tournament on Rayburn on his way to Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year for that year. Most impressive year for the young man from Idaho. How about right now, a B&W trailer hitches live on the line. Yeah, we found him.
Here we
Brandon
go.
Pollanick right there. Brandon, give us a little lowdown on what's there he is. Yeah, ready to go, ready for action as always. How's the action been out there today?
It's been really slow. And for me, the crazy part is that it's actually taken a lot of this jet ski go back. It's taken a lot of like mental kind of adjustments for me today, because I'm used to coming down to this part of the river and not seeing a soul, like not another bass boat. And there's been local guys around, there's been elite guys like all over the place, and so it's kind of taken me a little bit getting used to that. I knew it was going to happen, but it still is just, when you normally have kind of a rotation and a rhythm that you run through, it throws you off a little bit. And they're just biting funny today. Like a lot of the places that I normally much non-existent. And I've got maybe 16.5 pounds, which is not good on this pond. But we still got time.
Brandon, as much history as you have out on Lake Ontario, and with them announcing that our anglers could go into Lake Ontario this time around, we thought you would definitely be one of those anglers that lived out there. Why not the case here on day one?
Yeah, honestly, I probably should be. But I spent 3 days of practice out there and 1 day in the river, and the biggest bag I had was in the river. The lake to me was just fishing funny. They're hard to get to bite. They weren't in a lot of the normal places. I found 3 groups of them that I know were bass, and I can't catch them. I don't know what the deal is, but they look like great big giant ones. They're deep, and I can't catch them. So I don't know what the right call is, if I should be out there or in here, because I know it can happen here. I mean, I caught 26 and a half, almost, some of them were right where I'm sitting right now, 2 years ago in 2018. I can see a lot of them this whole week. I've seen a lot of fish on the graph and not been able to catch them, which is not normal for this body of water.
What do you attribute that to, Brandon? I mean, is it conditions? And now that it's starting to be a little bit sunshiny up on the river now, do you expect possibly things could they could get a little more catchable? They could start sort of packing up a little bit and being findable and catchable?
Yeah, I mean, generally, when you have these type of conditions, these are when I catch the smallmouth the best. But the tricky part is when you've had nothing but wind, and then it slicks off like this, it completely changes the way the current flows and where those smallmouth set up. And so what I've kind of noticed today is it seems like a lot of those fish have kind of slid off a little bit from where they were. And I think that's just because of a lack of current.
Well, Brandon, thanks for letting us intrude for a little bit. Obviously, you got plenty of time left to go and not in too bad a position right now, but appreciate your time, and we will see you come way in time. That's our 2013 champion here on Lake Ontario, actually, is where he won it, Brandon
See him
Pollanick.
kind of second-guessing his day so far.
A little bit,
yes.
Yeah, kind of interesting, Caught up with another one of our anglers that we did not get to visit with this morning. 4th place, Clark Wendlandt. We can look in on him right now. As a matter of fact, he has been located, and we will just watch Clark fish for a little bit right here.
Can you tell us how your day's going, Clark?
I've had a really, really good day. You know, this place is actually the very first BAS I ever fished. In 1992, we fished out of Clayton on Lake Ontario, and it's always came back one time since then. I finished 9th and 2nd in the 2 tournaments I fished here, and just always loved it. I mean, it's beautiful, it's giant, and I love giant places, and I just have good memories here, but I never did get to come back. We fished Waddington last year, and now the tournament got moved on the river down to Clayton, and shoot, I was just excited that we could go out on the lake, because I've always loved the lake. I want the big water where, you know, I can find a group of fish or a pattern or something that nobody else is going to be hopefully fishing, or at least not where I'm at. And it's been great. I mean, I started this morning, couldn't see a boat for, you know, 2-3 miles, 4 miles, I don't know. And I caught them pretty fast, and a lot of big ones, and yeah, it's been good.
Brandon Pollanick echoing what you hear from probably more than 50% of all fishermen's. Heaven is not being around anyone else out there. Pollanick told us the exact same thing when he was in the studio a couple of weeks ago.
Did you see how calm Lake Ontario was right there?
That was weird.
I've seen that in my lifetime like 2 times ever.
I look forward to that bonus camera that we just put in the boat with him. After jumping in, we get to see the rest of his day maybe out unfold.
Paul Mueller still the man on top, the angler from Lake Candlewood in Connecticut. There's Johnston in 2nd place. Mosley, Perch, Clifford Perch, big move in the last 1 hour. Maybe we can catch up with him as well. We got a lot on tap for you this afternoon on our way to 3 o'clock on Bassmaster.
Bassmaster Live, Tommy.
Thank you.
The SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
What do a taco and a taco truck have in common? Nothing. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
When I'm on the road for work or for fun, I always like to have a reliable generator around. This open frame inverter from Champion is ideal because it's lighter than a standard open frame generator and more affordable than a traditional inverter. The remote start helps me start up the generator or shut it off without having to leave my camper. It provides essential power for things like charging my boat batteries, also makes life a lot more comfortable for myself and my family.
Introducing the Bashu TV app. Get the most out of your Bashu TV subscription and learn on the go with the Bashu TV app. Unlimited access to 700 plus training videos. Multiple new releases each week, including seminars, on-water videos, live shows, interviews, and other original content. The Bashu TV app. Never stop learning.
Pre-collision system, standard, on the 2020 Tacoma, so you can go from one epic playground to the next. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
The SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is brought to you by Power Pole, Skeeter Boats, Yamaha, and by Toyota.
Day number 1, 4 days of fishing here. Very important stop here. All our regular season stops are important. There are 8 of them. We've got a goal in mind of getting them all in before this year is over. And I think it can happen. It's going to be a great one here. We're just really getting started through the first half of the day here on the incredible St. Lawrence River. Also Lake Ontario. Paul Mueller, who won the first event of the season down in Florida on the St. Johns River. He's the man in charge right now. And I got to tell you, last year, one of the most improbable things ever. 2 anglers won twice during the course of a 9-event regular season. So anything can happen. The man who started out faster out of the gate than any of our anglers was this man right here, Chris Johnston.
Fair to say probably one of the biggest favorites coming into this event, Chris Johnston, or his brother Corey Johnston, starting off with a giant St. Lawrence River New York Dugum stud right there, Tommy Sanders. And really, he made the comment on this first spot. He was around, call it 3 or 4 other competitor boats, which really within, call it 50 feet of him.
Easily.
Davey Height was on Chris Johnston earlier today and said, Bud, he basically just outfished him. And then he made his move into Lake Ontario after this flurry and slowly started to upgrade. The other side of really what we've seen with Chris Johnston today is he's managed his areas. He throttled him on this first spot right here, but it's when he went out into Lake Ontario, caught a couple, call it 4 to 5 pounders, when he said, look, I'm done and I'm gonna go looking. And as we've seen on Bass Track, he has made upgrades since then. Look at that one right there.
That's the catch of the day, right?
He's got 4 or 5 pounders listed on his Bass Track, and you have said before that one was a little bit big.
I would say he's got one closer to 6 pounds on there. An unbelievable morning with Chris Johnston. Really, it's been a lesson watching how he's managed all his areas. From there, going to head right back around Clayton, right around French Creek Marina. Buddy Gross starting on largemouth. Said, look, this is the first time I've ever been to this body of water. I'm going to stay near the takeoff and maximize my time. Well, he did that early this morning with largemouth.
Yeah, sticking with what he knew better than anything else, and that's finding and catching big ones. Of course, the champion from our previous tournament down in Alabama at Lake Duval.
I'll tell you what's really strange. Looking at our unofficial weights so far, taking a look at Buddy Gross right here, but listening to Brandon Pollanick, he knows he may have screwed up not going into Lake Ontario today, especially with the conditions that have improved since 10 o'clock. I think our weights today are going to dominate day one from last year.
Okay.
That was 25 bags over 20 pounds last year.
I think it's going to be very, very, very top heavy this time around compared to last year, where it was more compressed last year to guys that had 16 to 18 pounds. I don't think we'll see that, but I think we're going to see giant stringers at the weigh-in with Dave Mercer today.
We watch our highlights from Buddy Gross from this morning, and so I can catch a good near limit of good-sized largemouth, then come out and fill it out with some big smallmouth. Absolute, really good day for Buddy Gross. That's why he's in the top 10. Greg DePalma also hanging there currently in 12th place. That's doing a good job on day number one.
You see, Greg DePalma was really hoping he had this little spot to himself. Got to talk to him last night, and wouldn't you know, he was right next to Chris Johnston this morning. He was next to Clifford Perch, Garrett Paquette.
That's kind of weird there, baby.
And he's covered a lot of water. He was fishing all the way to the mouth of Lake Ontario. Has now made a move back to Morristown. That's a pretty good clip.
See him down there.
And you know, I know we have a lot of local anglers watching this, whether you live up in Kingston, Ontario, folks that fish around, you know, from Clayton all the way down to Syracuse. Traditionally, when that lake is open and you can get out there, that lake traditionally will dominate the river.
We're going to see that, some of the results of that when we get to weigh-in time again. For your info, write it down. It's coming up at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Live.
It's really calm.
Update. Looking for one big bite right now. I feel like that's what I need. That's where I'm at. I mean, I'm going to stay here. I'm just going to keep on grinding through this because I know that somewhere is right here. There's a really big fish, and I know if I can get my hands on it, man, it's really going to change my bag because I got one small fish in there. I mean, that small one there is probably, I don't even know, probably 2 pounds. All the rest are decent. Typically on the smallmouth tournaments, the weights usually go downhill the second day. Typically, but I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm gonna try to catch as much as I possibly can tomorrow too. I mean, even what I got right now, I don't feel like I'm out of it. It's just, you know, I just got to get that other bite. See bottom right here pretty good. I don't see any. Let's go up there. Let's go up a little bit.
You see our TH Marine Weather Watch, just a perfect summer's day here in northern part of New York. Partly cloudy, 76, just hardly, no wind at all. 4 miles an hour would be an overstatement.
I'm going to say that's the first mistake we've ever made on the TH Marine Weather Watch. There is zero wind right now.
It's not the first, but
it's not, is it?
Looking at a map, it's worse in the river than on the lake right now.
Wow.
So Greg DePalma talking about the arc of a traditional smallmouth tournament, but things are not. You pointed out this morning the conditions are not normal for this year, not traditional.
No, but guys like Corey Johnston, even Gerald Swindle was going to commit to shallow water, you know, fishing around Waddington. I know Seth Fighter ran close to Messina, fishing very, very shallow water. Guys that stayed with that shallow water game with the conditions that are happening right now, calm, sunny, it could really go down the next few hours. This is exactly what you want if you're one of those guys that was committing to shallow water.
A couple guys make a move. Matt Heron, 17 pounds. Our Japanese angler Tako Ito, 17 pounds. They're tied for 13th.
We talk about Gerald Swindle and the shallow water. Of course, we've seen Gerald Swindle turn around a tournament with one cast before. Certainly. Oh, hold on just a second. Got Micah Frazier hooked up here. See if we can get this one in the boat. It's hard to tell when Micah's excited about it. It's a little bit.
Greg De Palma also went from like a strong idle to like straight running, and the cameraman's still just hanging. Like, I don't know.
Man, he is the world's steadiest camera guy. Yeah. All right, let's see what this is for Frazier.
Calm, cool, and collected.
I don't think that one will help me.
Not going to be any help. We talk about Gerald Swindle, you know, and we've up here, the shallow water approach. We've seen him change the course of a day with one cast into shallow water. Let's harken back to 2007. The place is Clear Lake, California. Admittedly, this was a big fish tournament on a big fish lake.
There he is. That's him. That's a 10. Oh my God, come on, G. Get her back up. Come on, G string. Yeah! Yeah! Woo! You want him, baby? I got him! Woo! Yes! Yes! Woo! Look at the size of that fish! Oh my God! Yes! Give it here, dude! Don't worry about the damn show! Ah! Ah! Oh! Oh! Oh my God, what a bass. Oh my God, what a bass. Oh my God, what a bass, dude. Check out the size of that thing! Ah! Woo! Yes!
One of those Bassmaster moments that will live forever, no doubt about that. Gerald Swindle at age 50. A lot of accomplishments, including 2 Bassmaster Angler of the Year titles.
You know how many in the history have had more than one AOI title?
4.
We've awarded 50. There's been 24 different AOI winners over the 50 years.
7.
Yeah, I was going to say 6.
7.
11.
11.
Wow.
That's more than I thought.
You made it sound like it was an exclusive club, Such.
It is.
I need one of them right now. That was Clear Lake back when swim baiting come out, and caught that big one. It's still, to me, it's probably one of the most unbelievable catches I've ever had. Most memorable. But those make the good days, and it's what we need today. We need a 12-pounder. I reckon there's one in this place. I'm drifting, baby. I'm drifting. I'm going to make it happen. I think we just got to stay positive. You just got to keep grinding out here. I don't think you let a little slow morning or it's a little after lunch. It's been a little slower than I wanted, but I don't think it's worth, really getting down over. 2 drops, man, we're back in the game. So I'm going to work my way all the way back to Clayton. Fishing 20 to 30 foot, just back and forth, We're one bite away from getting it rolling. And that's why you have to always look at it as it's fishing. Anything can happen. I'm trying to stay smart, I'm trying to cast and drag and change baits. You want to keep your head in the game and not just get in some kind of routine where you just go through the motions. You want to try to keep figuring it out. It's real easy to get in a lull and just kind of get lethargic right here, and like I'll just go through the motions, but that ain't what we're here for. We're here to figure it out. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to fish key areas and try to fish nice and slow. I mean, my practice has been a lot like this. When I told Z last night on the phone, I was like, it's not the river that I remember. It's a lot tougher than I remember. Not saying it ain't a wonderful fishery. It is, but it's tougher to catch them than what you would think. It's not just come out here and drop 5-pounder, 5-pounder. You work to try to put them together, and then a couple of days you don't get those. Some days you get 5 of them, but it has proven to be a little tougher than what I remember. But hey, it's all good. It's what makes it challenging. It's what makes it fun, to some extent. It's gonna take more than them to get me down.
Gerald Swindle outlining his attitude for the afternoon, underlining the fact that anything can happen at any time as he fishes, as he says, his way back to Clayton. Clayton is where the weigh-in will be held. That's where the takeoff was this morning. That's going to happen at 3 local time, Eastern time this afternoon. Paul Mueller, unofficially the guy on top of the leaderboard, not by a little, but by a good bit, 1.5 pounds ahead of Chris Johnston. Brock Mosley hanging in there. Brock got started very early this morning as well. Clifford Perch from Arizona. First time we've had him on top in a little while. Looking forward to finding him.
The SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
You don't know their names yet, but you will.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work. Getting you to that fishing spot is key, and Bully Dog gets your truck road ready. No matter where, we give you the horsepower and towing torque right when you need it. We make getting there better. Make your ride a Bully Dog.
At Mercury, we invested thousands of hours of engineering manpower so you can enjoy hours and hours of untapped horsepower. Introducing the all-new V6 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly. At Mercury, there are no limits to what we'll do to make sure you have no limits either. Introducing the all-new V8 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly.
You're watching the SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
About an hour and a half's time left before all of these anglers need to at least be making their way to Clayton, as we just saw Gerald Swindle in the picture right there. He's doing that right now, but he'll be making an afternoon of it. Everybody wanting to be, in that cut line after tomorrow's fishing. Tomorrow we will have full coverage from you, 7 hours straight through, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, all the way to 3 Eastern Time.
Straight through.
Straight through. We're
no
not
timeouts tomorrow.
Stopping, no
wow.
timeouts.
I mean,
be prepared.
Run the football, boy.
That is exactly right. Speaking of football, the first set of goalposts that these anglers are going to encounter comes tomorrow afternoon. You got to be in the top 40 if you want to pass on to the remainder of the tournament. These guys want the points. They want everything. But they also want to stay and fish because this is one of their most fun fishing stops of the entire year.
Oh, except for this place right here.
Well, yeah. See, now that one traditionally has been the the Valhalla for bass fishing. Lake Sheridan still is fantastic.
Heading
Very
there
different
next
place.
week.
Yeah.
Coverage starts Thursday, correct?
Thursday starts. We'll have full coverage, much like we're having this week. Plenty of hours on ESPN2 on giant Lake Champlain. It too is 100 miles long and 15 miles wide.
If you don't watch the Bassmasters, relentless hours of bass fishing for you the next trip.
That's right, yeah. Unending.
No breaks. You get no breaks.
You get no breaks.
Going to get back out on the water right now, just around the corner from our takeoff there in Clayton, New York with Buddy Gross, Bassmaster Live.
Well, I got a nice development in 11th place. Rick Clun, who's fishing like his 18th, 19th, 20th tournament here, is in 11th place.
That is an interesting development.
Down there, I just did a whole lot of looking for structure, and it's kind of the same deal here. I'm just structure fishing. Some of it's shallow, some of it's deep. Right now, I've pulled up here onto a flat trying to catch some of these smallmouth that are roaming. Had a couple of cruisers up here the other day that were both 6-pounders, and I caught a pretty good largemouth, but I'd love to repeat it to get back to the question. I got room for another trophy on my trophy case. But no, it's a long ways from that. I'm just trying to have a good finish, keep my points good, and got my eye on that classic.
Buddy Gross looking good right now.
These Northern Lakes has had my number for the last few years. So.
Looking good to make that classic. Of course, he's in 12th place right now. I've been in 10th place when we went to our break here. And 10th place is key for Buddy Gross. That's where he started the final day at Lake Eufaula, our last event.
You know, and that's one of those tournaments, if you looked at his final day, 27 pounds, 11 ounces, it wasn't one of those tournaments covering that day. You thought, well, maybe Scott Canterbury, your leader, and really the one we were watching to win that tournament, messed up. Buddy Gross just beat him. Because Scott Canterbury actually had a fantastic final day.
Yeah.
Another 10th to first place. Jamie Hartman last year on Lake Gunnersville, all eyes were off of him. Weighs in 23 pounds and 15 ounces to take the very, I believe that was a very wet weigh-in at Lake Gunnersville.
Got a little stormy at weigh-in time there. He didn't get to get a full measure of celebration in time-wise anyway, but he got to make up for it later. But a big comeback and another 10th to first place episode to cite for you right here. Happened right here last year. Micah Frazier, 4 ounces. By 4 ounces, he makes the top 10. Man, does he capitalize.
I was out on the water this event.
Yes.
You were in studio. Did you see that one coming at all?
No, not at all.
No.
And it's real hard to tell him. He is contemplative while
He's
he fishes.
A flatliner.
He does not tell you exactly what's going on. He lets you
He
do the work.
doesn't tell you exactly what's going on when he's not fishing.
No. He told you some incredible things one time
He did.
on our show. He did.
We had a great conversation.
He's quite an axeman. We learned that. You know?
Yeah, we've kind of caught like 3 big ones here in the last couple of hours, and really tough this morning, but it seemed like when the sun came out, they started feeding a little better for a while, and I've got one more that's in the 3 and change that I'd like to call, but just out here trying to catch one more 4.5 to 5.5 pounder, and I think that would put me in pretty good shape to start the event. But I'm pretty happy with how the days went, other than the mid-morning lull kind of deal we had this morning.
Fun fact, you were just bringing that up. He said growing up his fun time, correct me if I'm wrong, he'd like to chop trees down.
Yeah, he did.
That's
good with an axe.
Got in a lot of trouble, he said.
That's just collateral, things that go on with chopping trees.
Let's just say we share something in common.
Mike is actually, I believe this record still stands, he won a boater event as a 16-year-old, the youngest you can enter them on like the weekend of series events. He was the youngest angler to ever win one.
Huh.
And that would be, half his life ago. He's like, early 30s now. Won that when he was 16.
Well, he is a polished angler. For a young man, that is for sure. He has achieved a lot.
See him on the graph up there.
For Micah Frazier, let's get back over to man who was in second place for a good long spell. Actually in the lead for a few minutes this morning.
Living out
Wendlandt.
right around the corner of Grenadier Island.
Had a good tournament. You followed.
Yes. Kind of thought he had it together to win that tournament.
Well, really, after 3 days, you'd think, man, he's one of the guys.
That
a
is
struggle on the final day.
Staggering how calm Lake Ontario is right there.
Just
that is. One of our veterans, Mark Menendez, who's not in this tournament on injured leave, made the comment he is stunned how few anglers are in Lake Ontario. And if you're just joining the broadcast, we have all, really been confined, I think, the last 2 or 3 events to the St. Lawrence River only.
Not allowed to fish in the lake.
Not allowed to fish on the lake, where
that's 4.
I just don't feel a lot of our anglers have a lot of history out there.
Just a little 3.5 pounder.
And like you said, practice was blown out.
Yes, yes. Very rough during practice.
I wonder how many of them at some later date they see this footage, what it looked like on day one, will be sort of thinking about that decision. But you never, I mean, the weather can be unpredictable. You get around big bodies of water that sort of generate their own weather. Wendlandt, great first day, superb first day. For second place, Chris Johnston.
It's got some shoulders. That's a deep one. Here he comes.
Well, you listen to his drag ticking right there. It sounded like Quint on Jaws when he was eating a cracker.
No, that's what, when he's eating a cracker.
Exactly.
Quint, the captain?
Yes.
Okay.
This might be the one we were looking for.
Sort of clacking his teeth together?
Yeah.
Okay.
The critical part of the movie, Tommy.
Okay.
The critical part of the movie.
Oh, when he was getting
strapped in.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
And to make note, every bass he's caught today has been a good one. Every single one of them.
That's right.
Come on.
If you weren't with us this morning.
We get this one and we're pretty well done here on the lake.
You proclaimed him the angler with the most experience on Lake Ontario among our 86.
Besides his brother.
Okay.
Yes.
Besides his brother.
It's a big one. Come on.
Gosh, that gives you a great picture of how clear that water is.
Especially how much the sun helps too. The sun came out the last time, or when we were with him earlier, wasn't out.
nice one. Not quite as big as I thought, but a good one. Let's see what he goes.
See that lamprey? It's a lamprey eel mark on the side of that fish, more than likely.
Get another one with that earlier today.
Yes, first one.
That's a 5.
Does he have anything under 5?
Not now.
Not now.
Not now.
Wow.
So Chris Johnston said, if this one's a 5, I'm probably going to head out of the lake right now. So let's see.
He's had trouble actually leaving the lake.
Yeah. If you get hooked up instantly again, which the last time we saw him, he caught one on the next cast. We're going to keep the camera rolling, see if that happens again, though.
He's going to have a giant stringer.
He is really going to have a Chris Johnston, second place, gaining on Paul Mueller, who's got a fantastic 26 pounds in the boat right there. And all the rest, we'll be back with more after the break.
The SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
Wherever the trail gets rough and the mud gets deep, you'll find a Toyota Tacoma. It's the best-selling compact pickup in America for 12 years. And it's not because we baby them. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
Your time on the water is precious. You return season after season to make unforgettable memories. Fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
You're watching the SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
We talked earlier about why the anglers love to come up here. The fishing, of course, another thing they love, and all of us love, all fans of bass fishing, the sort of crowds they attract in this part of the country. Waddington, New York, for the past 6 years, has been the host city. Small town, but in a big bass fishing community, that is for sure. People come from all around the countryside. They know they're bass fishing, and they're very enthusiastic about it. We will miss that this year.
Absolutely.
Because of a lot of considerations. We had to have adequate health measures put in. It took a bigger sort of infrastructure to do that, to comply with all the New York Sports Authority rules and regulations. We had to move to a little bit bigger town. That, of course, is going to be Clayton. Clayton was the original, sort of the bass headquarters back in the day, back in the first 10 or 15 tournaments for the Bassmasters here at the Thousand Islands. We're thankful for Clayton. We miss Waddington a lot, too.
Miss crowds.
Miss the crowds.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I got to Greg De Palma, Buddy Gross.
Both very, very solid days today.
Yeah. Both thinking they need one more big one.
You know, before we went to break right there, you look at Chris Johnston, and this is setting up to, and granted, last year, Chris Johnston, we had our eyes on him the whole tournament. Real quick, and I'll get back to this in a second, we're going to get out to Ron Moore's fantasy pick.
All right.
Pick to win the
Clifford
event.
Perch.
We'll go through all of those.
Just be watching a little bit.
So with that starting spot where we saw Chris Johnston, Greg DePalma, Clifford Perch, and Garrett Paquette, 3 of those 4 guys are in our top 12, with DePalma being the lowest in 12th. Paquette still has 4 for 13, so he still has a good shot. So it looks like at least
he just upgraded.
He did just upgrade.
There's a 4-way tie for 10th with Matt Airy, Mike Huff, Garrett Paquette, and Cliff Prince. 18 pounds. Kelly J just leapfrogged them both all into 9th.
Ooh, he came in hot there.
Yeah.
Clifford Perch had a great 2018 Classic, Knoxville. That same season, he had a great start, the St. Johns River also.
He's never missed the Classic every year on the Elites.
That's right.
He's qualified via the points. Looks like Perch is still hanging in that area with that.
There must be a
with that
pile
buoy.
of fish there, man.
Yeah. Basically what I was saying, all 4 of those guys who started there, they may have left, but their game plans were solid enough that they're all doing very well.
There's a blog that he was the only one who stayed there.
Really? Huh. The point I was going to make with Chris Johnston, this is really a perfect storm for him with Lake Ontario open and us not going.
Try to bring them slow to kind of help with the.
Like that, if I keep down on the side of the boat, I might have been able to hit it and land in the boat. Hit the front of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Perch also has a different kind of method. Instead of letting drag peel, he does
old school back reeling.
Yeah, the back reeling.
Wow.
No, your screen's not inverted. He is back reeling.
How we used to do it back in the day.
3.5. That's. So you have in the neighborhood of 23 pounds. Nobody's around to hear that.
I believe that's our own Jim Sexton from Bassmaster.com.
I believe that's right.
Said he's in the neighborhood of 23 pounds. Is it 3.5? Is the smallest it looked like, he said?
Wow.
That one might still help. Yeah, that's a good one.
That'll help.
Might help. Good looking fish.
It's crazy, but
Golly. That's only going to help you a half pound. You're having a good day.
Yeah, good one there for Cliff Perch. We found him just in time. Been looking for him all day long. Again, he was that group all fishing with close quarters this morning. And Cliff now, I think, can hear us. And Cliff, allow us to intrude for just a few minutes here. Nice fish right there. How much did that one help you? Or have you discerned that yet?
I just I gained about another half pound. That one's that's a 4-pounder there. I'm gonna let that one go.
Well, talk to us about the game plan that you cooked up for this edition, this 2020 edition here on the river.
Well, I didn't have a real great practice, and I go there. I really love fishing here, and I did real well the first 3 times we came, and the last 2 times they really gave me fits. I just didn't do good. So I really wanted to do good again this time. Obviously, we always want to do good, but I just needed to feel like I could catch them again. You know, the guys coming in are just unbelievable, and they all catch them so good that, man, I needed to catch them. You know what I mean? So it's been a fun day. I started off, I was the first guy here this morning, but we ended up with, there was 4 or 5 of us, and it took me a while to get the game going good, you know, but I've got 3 5-pounders and 2 of them over 4, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm thinking about maybe catching another 1 or 2 because I'm seeing so many of them, but I don't want to leave anything on the table. You know, I kind of did that in a smallmouth tournament one time and laid off a little too soon, and I was catching them real good, and I don't want to blow it. So I found this because there's a spawning flat about a half mile away, and I saw some spawning there still a little bit and cruising, and but I could see a ton of empty beds, and it's just a giant flat where I realized that everything from there has got to go somewhere, and you know, so I searched every little ledge for, you know, about a mile around it, and I think this is where they all came. So I'm excited it started well today.
All right, Cliff, thanks for spending some time with us. We're going to let you move on. Clifford Perch right there with a little bit of an upgrade. Yeah, very nice day.
Yes.
Super day on the water.
That's a special little spot we're going to find out a lot more about tomorrow.
I bet we'll be back there tomorrow.
I bet we're going to be back there with several different cameras. Right?
Cliff he was the first one there this morning, he pointed out for us. That's good to know. Cliff Perch moving up, at least solidifying his spot in 4th place. He may have, and it said, well, it should have 23 and a half now if we are to.
Well, Andy, you think about it, we flipped the takeoff order, so he may be the last one there tomorrow. That's the key thing.
We got plenty more yet to come here. We got another hour, final hour, as a matter of fact, on the St. Lawrence River, coming your way on Bassmaster
Live, Tommy.
Thanks.
The SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
And win with Skeeter Real Money. Fish out of your Skeeter boat, win a Skeeter-approved contingency paying event, and you could add $5,000 to your winnings. Just enter, fish, and win. It's that easy. Rules and conditions apply. Visit SkeeterBoats.com and click the Real Money logo to register and learn more, or visit your local Skeeter dealer. Fish, win, get paid. Up to $5,000. Go to SkeeterBoats.com and see why now is the best time to enter, fish, and win with Skeeter Real Money.
You don't know their names yet, but you will.
You're watching the SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
One more glorious hour of bass fishing on the St. Lawrence River and also Lake Ontario coming your way here on Bassmaster Live for today, the first day of this Bassmaster Elite, the SiteOne Elite. These incredible, legendary bodies of water. Tomorrow we're going to give you 7 full hours of coverage. And same thing on Saturday. We're going to start at 8 Eastern Time, take you all the way to 3 p.m. weigh-in time Eastern Time. That's full coverage on Saturday.
And Tommy, breaking news from SportsCenter while we're on ESPN2.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson is gonna fight Roy Jones Jr.
What?
September 12th in an 8-round exhibition match. I'm not kidding.
I'm not missing that.
Listen, that is just like Hangover 2, one of the best movies ever.
That's right.
Sorry.
Oh.
Hey, that's legit.
He still has it. That is legit. Really? You're not kidding. You didn't make that up.
He has not fought in 15 years.
Well, we didn't make up what happened this morning either.
I wouldn't bet against him or this guy right here.
No. This is for real. We saw it with our own 2 eyes.
Ronnie, power poll replay of the day. Fairly obvious. It's been this guy from start to finish. He has not been in an exhibition. It's been a bout with Chris Johnston. Starting with that one right there that he called a 5-pounder. I go, no, my friend. I go about 5 3/4. And we have him right now, unofficially. Now, I went to a community college. We have him with 24.8, yet his smallest one is 5 pounds.
Yeah.
5 fit
That
just
really doesn't
do.
It hasn't updated. It hasn't updated.
Chris Johnston, you are the Power Poll replay of the day, and it's eerily similar to last year. Chris Johnston showing up in a big way on day number 1, the St. Lawrence Bassmaster Elite Series event. You are the Power Poll replay of the day.
Same Chris
It
Johnston.
was disjointed, but it worked.
Oh, yeah. Agree.
Right.
Same Chris Johnston who led the first 3 days. Almost took this thing wire to wire last year. And there he is. 2019 tournament.
Different style of fishing, real shallow.
Yes.
Shallow, watching him eat his bait.
And what's really strange is seeing what he weighed in last year compared to this year. I mean, these look small, yet he had very, very big stringers in that tournament.
Could be a clue of something to watch for at weigh-in time.
I think so.
He could be another guy that's right there at that 26-pound mark with Mueller if he's got all 5s and maybe a 6.
Yes. Chris Johnston with a big event last year, and somebody we were looking for also in that tournament that should have was Corey Johnston, Chris Johnston's brother, fishing just around the corner from Clifford Perch in the river on a spot that we found him last year. Corey Johnston live. Oh, he's seeing him. He's seeing him.
Sun out, wind almost non-existent.
God, it's a giant. It's a giant. This is a giant. Gotcha. That's a good one. Look at that. Another hook right in his mouth. Isn't that crazy?
That was an awesome fish catch. He saw that fish. If you replay that and you watch him, he basically changes lures. He looks over to about 1 o'clock. That is exactly where he caught them last year.
I say let's replay it here in a couple of minutes.
Well, we should.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's in my Power Poll replay today, my friend.
Well, here's a guy, you've said it multiple times today, he can strike very quickly and change the whole nature of the top of the leaderboard right there. So we'll be back to Corey Johnston today. But right now, let's take a trip down the fantasy highway. Let's have a drag race because we got Ronnie Moore, the screen of knowledge, ready to pack a lot of information into our brains in a small period of time.
We're going to do that, Tommy. We talked about Rapala Bassmaster fantasy fishing in the 5 buckets, how you choose them. There's a lot of fantasy fishing pundit stories with different thoughts on who's hot, who's not, who you should pick. Well, I always like to gauge the room, all of our broadcast team, Dave Mercer, Davey Hyden on the water, and then all of us here of who we think could win the event. Not just do well, but who you think you could win the event with. And Mike Sucon picked Brandon Lester, a guy who was 1 fish away, lost that fish in 2018, had a shot to win this one. Corey Johnston, that was one of Davey Hyde's picks. Very smart pick by him. And the non-committal Dave Mercer, he just went with the Canadian flag because he picked all Canadians, the Johnstons and Gussie. He would not commit to one, so we just gave him all the Canadians. And as we go over to the other 3 picks here, Zona, you picked Gustafson. What reasoning behind Gustafson did you think, and as well as you, Tommy, with Corey Johnston?
He told me he was catching them.
Okay, that's a good reasoning. Tommy, Corey as well. Davey's not here to speak for himself, but Corey's a good Johnston.
Watch Corey catch him, despite everything that was going on. His world turned upside down. Catching the heck out of him last year. That's what impressed me about it.
Well, and I picked Clifford Perch. So right now, every single person's pick on that deal is in the top 30 of this event so far. A really good shot. All these guys, great electronics fishermen, great smallmouth anglers with good track records here. And that is a rock-solid way of going about an event that maybe if you haven't fished at the St. Lawrence before, look at the results, and they're not going to lie to you too much. These guys have done well before, and they're doing well this week.
Good stuff, Ronnie. Feel a little fantasy smarter right now. Every time he comes up with the screen of knowledge.
When you combine that we're talking about, let's take a look here real quick. Watch Corey Johnston. Look, he could see that fish. Change his lures right here. Watch the cast. It's going to be your Skeeter boats. Taste the bait. Yes. That is.
God, it's a giant. It's a giant.
Great fish catch.
This is a giant.
We talked about the sun coming out, calming conditions. That is when this shallow bite goes, and it's gotten better and better as this day's gone on.
Gotcha. That's a good one. Look at that. Another hook right in his mouth.
That was an impressive catch.
That fish broke somebody's heart.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah. Possibly today, that's how quick they rebound and bite.
Johnston?
I really want to catch that one.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my gosh.
No.
Did you hear what he said? I really want to catch that one, but it won't help me.
That's tremendous.
Oh, that is a...
We're going to go check 1 or 2 spots in the river here in a couple minutes. See if they pulled up with this sun, and we're just really practicing. If we come across a big one, great, but I'd love to find some 4-pounders.
So there you go. He has what he needs today in his mind with his 5 bass limit that we have right around 25 pounds, and he is basically practicing for the rest of the tournament.
Kind of makes you just a little bit ill to see somebody talk about leaving a place where he's just looking down and seeing
I'm a little bit OW having fantasy fishing, talking about Mike Tyson, seeing fish cruising up shallow.
A little OS, you're a little overstimulated.
A little bit right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was your OW? Overwhelmed?
Overwhelmed.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure.
Yes.
All right. That's...
And I referenced The Hangover 2.
Yes, you did right before we... Yeah.
A performance by Mike Tyson singing One Night in Bangkok at the end of the movie at Phil's wedding. That's right,
Excellent.
Tommy.
Excellent.
There's some unofficial...
You are a time tripper.
Trivia right there.
Scott Canterbury came in with the lead, Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year. things are going to have to pick up a little bit if he wants to.
Scary tough day.
He has
yeah.
less than a third of what he brought in last year on day one.
Wow.
That's hard to.
At
hard to believe.
23.7, second place.
Shows you how much a place can change.
7 pounds.
Better one. No giant. A little bit better.
He's known for late heroics. Last year he caught a 5.5 in the last hour to get in the top 5.
Even standing where he is now, I wouldn't be totally surprised if he made the cut at the end of the day tomorrow. That's a guy that can get a lot done in a short period of time, but he has got a steep embankment to climb to get up to there. Right now, those are the guys on top of the hill. Paul Mueller, 26 pounds. We just saw Chris Johnston upgrade. He's right where he wants to be. Brock Mosley, Clifford Perch, and Clark Wendlandt. Got to visit with them as well. Still got the better part of an hour coming up. More fishing on the way on Bassmaster Live.
The SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
I'm pro angler Andy Montgomery. I've been making my living with Strike King products for a long time. So when they showed me the new Tour Grade line, I was all in. I knew I could trust it. What I didn't know was how easy it was to use. With the spooling tool and the prepaid envelope to recycle your old line included in every single box. Not only is it the best line on the market, it gives you the easiest fishing experience possible. Find out more at StrikeKing.com.
Introducing the Bashu TV app. Get the most out of your Bashu TV subscription and learn on the go with the Bashu TV app. Unlimited access to 700 plus training videos. Multiple new releases each week, including seminars, on-water videos, live shows, interviews, and other original content. The Bashu TV app. Never stop learning.
In the wild, nature dictates that when it's time to eat, animals will instinctively find and devour the meal that satisfies them most. In the water, Berkeley Powerbait's scientifically proven formula triggers the natural predatory instinct in bass. Now available in a plethora of shapes, sizes, and colors. Berkeley Powerbait. Fish bite and won't let go.
The SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is brought to you by Abu Garcia, Berkeley, Nitro Boats, and by Ranger Boats.
Pushing ahead on towards the end of the fishing day. Rules of the game they're playing by all 4 days. Well, there's 4 days of fishing available. Started with 86 anglers. Full field will fish again tomorrow, but after tomorrow's weigh-in, cut down to 40 anglers. They will fish on Saturday, and at the end of Saturday's weigh-in, only 10 will advance. The big final, Championship Sunday. It's a 5-fish limit, and just around 8 hours every day. Heaviest 4-day total weight wins. And we saw Scott Canterbury right before the break, before we took our short break there with his best fish of the day.
Better one. No giant.
And a tough day for Scott Canterbury today.
What's weird is really if you look at that bass right there, he never weighed one in that size last year. Everything he weighed in was bigger than that.
Absolutely had a great year last year, and everybody, he was a question mark in people's minds. He had done well. South Carolina, other places down south, he had, exceeded all expectations. But coming up here, how well would he do? Well, he got to work on the smallmouth when he got up north.
He did, lived around the Ogdensburg area, and like we talked about, looking at that, it was just consistently day after day after, not catching a ton of bass, but the right quality. Davey Height said this, we said it earlier in the broadcast, there was about a 2 to 3 mile stretch last year that harbored that size bass, just quality smallmouth. And we're seeing that same thing transpire right now on the St. Lawrence River, just a lot closer to Lake Ontario.
Not the same place, but yeah.
He had one day under 20 pounds last year, 1910. Real close.
Well, it's been, I mean, the sun came out and I've had more bites. Still haven't got any size, but I am getting some bites, catching a few. So, still got plenty of time. It's got to be 4-pounders instead of pound-and-a-halfers. It's been a struggle today to get bit. So, I got a little bit of time, a couple of places to hit, so. You know, I mean, we're 3 weeks earlier, the fish are scattered a lot more. They hadn't grouped up, but, you know, it got hot. Like, I mean, it got up to like 100 degrees for a couple of weeks up here real fast. And I don't know if that scattered them and messed them up because, I mean, I came up here last year on 4th of July week before it went off limits, and it was really good then. As good, I mean, it may not have been as good as it was when we came back in August, but it was really good. So, I mean, it's been a tough deal for me. I've got, you know, I had 2 different things that I could have done. And obviously I picked the wrong one today. But we'll make a gamble, see if we can't change things up tomorrow. I still got to catch them today. I mean, a couple of bites and you got, you know, you get a couple of 4-pounders and you're, you know, you got 15 pounds or so. So there's always time. Until we check in, there's still time here.
Well, he may have a later check-in today. Some of the anglers need to be back there, ready to go at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So Scott may have as much as you know, a full hour, maybe a few minutes more than that left to do. And he spoke of maybe taking a chance tomorrow, doing something completely different.
I think you see a lot of guys after today's weigh-in decide to go to Lake Ontario tomorrow.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Winds are still going to be good to where you can get out there and.
Okay.
Sunny, 82, winds at Clayton about 3 miles an hour.
One thing Canterbury mentioned was fishing in July 4th region, you know, how good it fished or how bad it fished compared to when we went last year. Mm-hmm. Last year in June, the college series, our Carhartt Bassmaster College Series went there, and we were talking about how many 20-pound bags there could be there today. There was 85 20-pound bags or bigger on day one of the college event, and that was when they were only restricted to the Waddington region. So this place has them. It's just different times of year. They show up a lot easier than others, or they're just all grouped up than others. But June last year, and that reminded me because Hank Weldon texted me earlier this week, and then also the guy who won the event last year, the college event, Brighton Kurtz, a Texas boy, He just he's watching Bass Live, tuned in to see what the guys are doing on the St. Lawrence.
We talk about the heavy winds. Southwest winds are generally what are the nastiest winds. Taking a look at, is that John?
Ed Lochran?
Ed Lochran, yeah.
Near
solid day.
Johnston?
We talk about the southwest winds that are coming, and that is
Saturday and Sunday, yeah.
Saturday and Sunday. But here's the other side of that is the way that Chris Johnston is fishing in that lake, and that wind pushing with the current. Those fish traditionally out on the lake, when it gets rough like that, they bite. Like, the worse it gets out there, the better those fish bite. So it doesn't bode that bad right now for Chris Johnston where he's fishing.
There will be guys that zig and zag improperly. The guys who should have gone to the lake today will wait and maybe go towards the weekend when it gets harder weather-wise, and they don't have their footing and they're zigging and zagging the wrong times, whereas the guys can now lay up in the river if it gets bad. I hope we have a camera with perch tomorrow. He has a very unique way of approaching smallmouth, especially with his electronics. He has his graph in the back on a ram mount that he can turn and rotate. So not only does he have his graph say he's looking out on the front deck, but he also looks back at the console. That's what he keeps looking at.
To be honest, I caught a couple in the
his
river.
graph there as well.
And then I drove by here. I'm like, no one's here. I'll save it. I went out to the lake and caught a few.
Cliff been in the river all day. Years past, 2013, a couple of years after. Cliff Perch would be one of those guys, when we get taken out from Waddington, would head north toward Cornwall. He would reliably be one of the group that went way north, way downstream.
It's just not that way.
Kobe's pecking on it.
Yeah, I had him. Yeah, there's one bite.
Got me.
Greg de Palma looking for another big one. It's been looking for it for a good long while now. He's been passed by a few folks in the last 45 minutes or so. Tomorrow, there's that weather we were talking about.
They are going to crush them tomorrow.
Warmer at 82, 3 miles an hour, so no wind effectively.
Yep.
Sunny skies. Should be a smallmouth festival.
For the most part, though, today, we had really overcast skies this morning, all the way up until almost our midday break.
Yeah, on the river primarily, yeah.
Where tomorrow's going to be pretty much spot on from start to weigh-in.
So it'll be a different complexion, the fish catching tomorrow?
I think tomorrow we're going to end up probably seeing a lot more guys. I think we're going to see guys deep early in the morning, but I think you're going to see guys when it gets like this tomorrow. If that deep bite turns off a little bit, you'll really see them come shallow tomorrow.
Might look for a Steve Kennedy out there somewhere. Huh?
Yes.
Now, how with a guy like Kennedy going all the way up towards the Messina region, probably throwing a swim bait. Over the years, he has tried to harness that in and realize how to hook those smallmouth and land those smallmouth without losing them. With this sun, they're going to help him even more, or
Absolutely.
is this something?
Absolutely, 100%. I look for the way it is right now. I look for Seth Fighter to have a a good day today, that he's been off our bass track all day.
Z Fighter actually just popped in. He's sitting down there tied with a dozen dudes at 12 to 13 pounds. So
that stuns me.
What time does he need to start heading back? I mean, is that an hour? Yeah?
No.
An hour?
Yes.
No, we won't know it all. We won't know a lot of scores at all until everyone gets back to the weigh-in time. These anglers fishing without marshals in the boat this time, understandably, health considerations and rules that we have to obey out here. So a lot more of these guys have to multitask out there, report their own weights. We'll be back to report on what happens when we return.
The SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
While I travel the country on the Bassmaster Elite Series, I simply can't let the weather be the reason I don't win $100,000. That's why I use AFCO clothing to keep me warm, dry, and protected from whatever Mother Nature wants to throw at me. My season depends on it. My career depends on it. AFCO. Any fish, any water.
At Mercury, we invested thousands of hours of engineering manpower so you can enjoy hours and hours of untapped horsepower. Introducing the all-new V6 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly. At Mercury, there are no limits to what we'll do to make sure you have no limits either. Introducing the all-new V8 Mercury Pro XS. Light, quick, efficient. Mercury, go boldly.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work. Getting you to that fishing spot is key. And Bully Dog gets your truck road ready. No matter where, we give you the horsepower and towing torque right when you need it. We make getting there better. Make your ride a Bully Dog.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
You're watching the SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Back on the St. Lawrence for the final minutes of the SiteOne Bassmaster Elite. Tomorrow we'll have full coverage for you all day long, even more than we had for you today on Bassmaster Live right here on ESPN2. And the app, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and going straight through, no breaks, no stopping. We're going to take you all the way to 3 p.m. tomorrow. So that's Friday. A lot of fun in store. A lot of fun in store. See the fellow in the picture there on your left, the top of your screen there, that is Buddy Gross. Buddy Gross has given us a lot today.
Well, he's
provided the fans with some good stuff.
And he's given us controversy, Tommy Sanders.
What?
He has. Right now, Buddy Gross is the Mercury Move of the day, okay?
Well.
Started off with largemouth and started off very, very strong. And I thought, wow, we're going to see a giant bag of smallmouth. But the Mercury Move of the day is really after he went largemouth fishing. Right here, we saw a lot of solid largemouth. Went out and caught some really big smallmouth that we're going to see in 1 second. But the controversy is Ron Moore here in studio believes the Mercury Move of the day, you said during our intermission, should be Chris Johnston leaving our boat ramp.
Start to finish.
Start to finish.
Yeah. Oh, even picking up where he left off at the last time we were here.
Hey, you have to give it up. Buddy Gross
I do like
never
his diverse.
coming to the St. Lawrence River in his entire life, starting out this morning, catching really quality largemouth, making slow upgrades here and there, and then shifting gears, going out to the main St. Lawrence River.
That's for you, Bella.
Buddy doing what he knows best. And then adjusting from there, being comfortable. That's the biggest thing. He wanted to get a limit and be comfortable.
Could be the AOY leader today too.
Wow.
I
If
didn't even
everything
think
is
of
just
that
like
could happen as well.
Clark Wendlandt.
There's a move.
Buddy Gross, you are the Mercury Move of the day.
Take a look at a map which has all of Buddy's catches
Wow.
and the weights attached.
Let me highlight this real quick. He has not burned a gallon of gas.
No. Thermos maybe.
All day long, because right there, he might have.
Maybe
might have burned
2 gallons
two
just to
and a
get
half
back. Just to
gallons
get
of
back. Yeah.
gas.
All right, now Chris Johnston, Ronnie said, controversy. I love a good
Towing
controversy.
I know.
Towing that Canadian line right there, staying in the light
don't
blue,
go
which
over
is
the
where
line.
you need to be. New York waters.
You're right, not a bad move. Coming back and doing what he did after a really, really successful campaign here last year. Here we go, Corey Johnston.
I'm still waiting for Corey to
On
make
the
a
right.
move. To think that last year he had 22 and change, and with the penalty dropped down to 15, and that he's got 15 right now on a normal
Fish are
day.
not stupid.
That's tough.
It's a different sort of year. Would these fish have received, Mark Zona, on the U.S. side, more or less pressure than they would have in the normal year by this point?
Well, it's hard to say. You know, there's a lot. We just did a blog on Bassmaster.com. Obviously, with the situation in the country, there's a lot more people fishing right now, getting out on the water, which is great to see. Families, and you see a lot of people out on the water. The other
License
side,
sales are up across the board, state
absolutely.
by state.
I also think the area from Waddington to, call it, Morristown, I think that has received a lot more pressure because of the tournaments that have gone out of there. But the one thing that saves from where Corey and Chris Johnston are, that area, the mouth of the St. Lawrence River where it goes to Lake Ontario, look, it's beautiful right now, but it is, we talked about it earlier, this is one of the roughest places in the country, and there's a lot of times you can only get out there 2 or 3 days a week at most. And that's why you always see that area of this region produce.
Back out to Scott Canterbury. Scott got a lot of work to do. Needs to get some of it done today in the short time left.
But Tommy, absolutely, fishing pressure, just because this place is so phenomenal and the publicity it gets from Waddington to Clayton to Cape Vincent all the way down to Henderson Bay, these fish are not unintelligent.
No, they're smart.
Stay on.
I think when we arrived here last year, it was on top of the Bassmaster list for #1 fishery in America.
Be better. He'll get rid of that little baby. Come on, baby. Stay button. Still not a real big one, but he's a good one. Chunky one.
Canterbury chipping away at it. Again, he's got a good bit of work to get done. Gonna find his way into the top 40 by the end of the day tomorrow. Back out to Chris Johnston.
Oh, that stinks.
A lot of seagulls live on those buoys.
Oh, I got you.
Is that the white
stuff there?
Yeah. And they do. They're
hitting some
quite
one-off
pungent.
spots here, and just saying to Russ, I've never caught one here, but it's worth a try. We need a 6-pounder.
Stetson Blaylock with the cull jumps to 19th and
Pretty
Brandon
good day
Lester
today.
27th.
Jumped a couple off, but we'll take it. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. What's that? Well, I did a bunch of graphing there after we caught them. Just hold on here. Crap. I did a bunch of graphing and marked a bunch of fish, a couple new areas where there's some really big hooks, and I think we're gonna get them pretty good tomorrow. They might be 3.5s, they might be 4s. I'm not sure, but we're gonna have some fun. But again, we gotta save them for day 3 and 4. And I think it's supposed to be a little nastier, so really limits on how long we get to fish if we're going out in the lake. So gotta manage them. We've got, I don't know, probably 10 spots we haven't hit yet. So hopefully they don't get hit by other anglers too bad. I've got a smallie right under us right now and hoping to catch them. Hard to tell a smallie bite sometimes because there's so many gobies. You just feel tap, tap, and sometimes you set the hook and you pull it away from the smallies.
Chris Johnston with pretty rosy outlook for tomorrow.
I would say.
think we want to be around here. We'll also want to be kind of educated on Paul Mueller, what he did today. We'll know more about that tomorrow, too. How about some trivia, though, while we take a break here? Think about this. When was the first invasive round goby first discovered in the Great Lakes? Would it have been 1980? Would it 30 years ago? No, 40 years ago. Would it have been 1986, 1990, or 1996? Think about it.
I think they're precious. In fact, Goby likes his belly scratched. Yeah, no. They're like a pet. Goby wants his belly scratched.
That's adorable. I love that. All right, we'll be right back.
The SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
What do a taco and a taco truck have in common? Nothing. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
Fish and win with Skeeter Real Money. Fish out of your Skeeter boat, win a Skeeter approved contingency paying event, and you could add $5,000 to your winnings. Just enter, fish, and win. It's that easy. Rules and conditions apply. Visit SkeeterBoats.com and click the Real Money logo to register and learn more, or visit your local Skeeter dealer. Fish, win, get paid. Up to $5,000. Go to SkeeterBoats.com and see why now is the best time to enter, fish, and win with Skeeter Real Money.
Your time on the water is precious. You return season after season to make unforgettable memories. Fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
Pre-collision system. standard on the 2020 Tacoma, so you can go from one epic playground to the next. If you want to play, you need a Tacoma.
You're watching the SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River, being brought to you live by Mercury.
Well, how about it? MLB Opening Night is tonight
Yes.
on ESPN. And tomorrow, we'll have 3 more games, the openers for these 6 teams. Back-to-back Cy Young Award winner Jacob deGrom starts for the Mets against the Braves. That's at 4 Eastern time. Then after that, the great rivalry, Brewers and Cubs at Wrigley. And the nightcap, Mike Trout and the Angels squaring off against the Oakland A's. You can always watch all 3 games, also on the ESPN app. Opening night for Major League Baseball. Feels good to be able
Exciting
to say it.
to see that.
Yes,
Yes, it does.
That changes our world a little bit there, and in a good way. No doubt about it. And now is the trivia.
How do you go from opening night promo to Gobi trivia ever in the history of ESPN?
It's called, we have a limited amount of time and a lot of information.
Let's do
Okay, let's take a look at this again. When was the first invasive brown goby first discovered in the Great Lakes? Was it 1980, 86, 90, or 96?
Okay. First off, Gobi likes his belly scratched. I'm gonna go
We've established
with.
that.
I'm gonna go with B, 1986.
I'm gonna say 1990. Ronnie?
I got to recuse myself. I know the answer, but
You know
Tommy's-
the answer, and Such
Tommy's
knows
right.
the answer.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tommy's right.
1990. Okay, there we go.
Tommy is just
from,
a pro's pro.
Well,
Eastern Europe, and they first found him in the St. Clair River, Z.
Yeah.
You fish a lot.
He's a bad Gobi.
Stop it. Stop that.
Water right
No more of that.
with Corey.
No time.
Oh. She has been a grind today. There's no doubt about that.
Oop.
Light one down there. Looks like a 3 pounder. There's another one. A couple of them down here. They're so hard to catch. Two of them looking at it.
Buddy Gross, excellent day. Our winner, last stop, Eufaula.
He's seen something.
Hold on, Corey Johnston on the left. Substandard, I'm sure by his standards.
You hear Corey talk about how hard these shallow water smallmouth are, and generally, I don't want this sound. You've done this. They're dumb. They are not very intelligent here, and that could hooked up right here. That could come from a lot of that pressure you were talking about.
Little guy.
Oh, Micah Frazier made a move just a moment ago. 4 pound, 12 ounces up to 21 on the day. Jumped into 6th place.
He is the master of the quiet move up the leaderboard.
I agree.
It's a healthy one. You them grow up a bunch. Yeah? not seeing the big ones.
One thing worth
I haven't
noting.
even seen many of them.
Talked to one of our college standouts, Nolan Miner, who was up at the St. Lawrence just a few weeks ago, and he said they had been on the bed, from locals had said they had been on the bed and shallow for over a month, and that when they were there, it was so hard to catch those shallow cruisers because they had been pressured or they had seen enough people around for a while that they were hard to get, and it makes sense even a month later that they're even harder to catch.
Use Tatsu, you can boat flip everything. 3-pounders, whatever.
You know, it's
Stuff is strong.
What's a lot different about this region of Great Lakes, of Lake Ontario, compared to a lot of the other Great Lakes, whether you look at in the Erie, Huron, there is a very, very large percentage of smallmouth that want to live deep here, and there's a very large percentage of them that want to live very shallow, okay? If you go to Superior and Huron, yeah, there's some up shallow, but the majority of them tend to want to be deep this time of year. That's not really what goes on here. If you know, traditionally, times that you have fished here, there is a massive, massive population of bass that just, when they come up to spawn in, call it early June, and then actually do their ritual of spawning in June, the end of June, they'll stay to where there's a massive population, shallow and deep, which is very different from the rest of the Great Lakes.
Yeah, you think about buffalo. This time of year?
There's some.
There's some up, but
not
there's
a big
ton of them
population.
out
Right.
deep, right?
But,
yeah. Well, you never want to fish the past. You never want to fish
Right.
history. Of course, that's doubly true in the case of Corey Johnston last year. This is on a borrowed boat because he had issues
No,
with his
I did not.
freshman.
Steve Bowman took that picture.
And things
Trolling
are
motor
not
was
going well.
fine. Trolling motor was fine. Bolts holding it, and that's, you see myself.
There you are.
And
Oh,
Steve
no.
Bowman. I had a power drill. No reason for that, number one.
No.
But here's the thing. Corey Johnston had 22 and a half pounds, and I looked at him and said, "Are you heading back to weigh in with the day that you've had thus far?" He said, "No, I got to catch one more 5-pounder." Misread his clock in his boat, came to the day one weigh-in late, lost 7 pounds.
7 pounds.
Could have gone on to possibly win the event and the Angler of the Year title. One of the biggest disasters of a first day of competition in the history of competition.
So we calculated it up. He had to reset his graph because he had wiped the waypoints, so it set it to default, which was prior to daylight savings. So he thought he was going to be 50 minutes early, and he was 7 minutes late. Was 60th place instead of 7th, and then he backs up his day two, and he would have been 4th, but he barely missed the cut.
And I told this story before, seeing Corey hooked up right here, catching a lot of small fish. We were with Corey and Chris after day one last year, where Chris Johnston was leading, and Chris was talking about how many fish he lost on day number one, and this was after, Corey came to the weigh-in late, and Corey said, "Chris, why don't you just use a new hook?" And Chris looked over at him and said, "Why don't you buy a watch?"
No.
Fantastic.
Is that Seth Fighter?
I don't.
It looks like a Rapala Daiwa boat, and it's red and white and black. If that is, then he came back.
Maybe we could pan in on that. I don't.
That wouldn't be the first time these two have fished right together.
That, but it also means that he left much earlier from Messina to come back here to even have fishing time to then go check in.
For him to
Because
go
it's past takeoff.
to go to Messina to the mouth of Lake Ontario would be next to impossible, which makes you wonder if he even went to Messina today, I guess. Oh, he is catching them.
Picking it up.
He's just reeling to. It's not good when you can horse him in with a spinner on.
Ned.
You just heard him say he's catching him on a Ned. I guarantee you that is Seth Feider if he is telling that other boat what he's catching him on, or else Corey Johnson would not tell the other boat he's catching him on. I'm going to tell you what that music means, Tommy Sanders.
Oh, yeah, I think we all know.
The Power Pole replay of the day is this, I'm talking about dadgum New York stud of a smallmouth, and you want to watch this right here. Chris Johnston, earlier today, hooked a giant Lake Ontario smallmouth, and it jumps in the boat. Said nobody ever in the history of the Bassmaster Elite Series. And you'll notice him steer him a little bit with his rod tip when he makes that jump.
Trying to help out.
The thing didn't fight the whole way up. It had to have some energy.
What a great catch. He just helps him a little bit when he's on the gun rail.
He'd only been hooked for about 20 seconds.
At most.
25.
If that, we made the comment, if that fish would not have jumped in the boat right there, more than likely he would have had to fight it for another 4 to 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Chris Johnston, you are the Power Pole replay of the day for the 4th time today. Good one right there.
It is a really good smallmouth,
Yes.
too. That's the second probably biggest one he's got in his live well, and it's he's got a prodigious live well put together. Look at that. Almost 25 pounds, probably is 25 pounds for Chris Johnston. Paul Mueller, though, with 26 on top of the leaderboard right there. Brock Mosley, Clifford Perch, Mark Wendlandt, Micah Frazier now moving up into the top 6. Might want to keep our eyes on that as well. We got a tiny bit more of Bassmaster Live for you. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with a little bit more for you.
The SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is being brought to you live by Mercury.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Mercury, go boldly.
Back-to-back domination, unbelievable!
The SiteOne Bassmaster Elite at St. Lawrence River is brought to you by Humminbird, Mercury, Minn Kota, and by Talon.
Just a few more minutes left for some of the anglers. Some of them already checked in. They're at Clayton, New York, getting ready for the weigh-in, day 1 of this Bassmaster Elite event. Coming up next week, though, we got back-to-backers here in this state of New York. What a huge bass fishing state. What great bass fishing resources they have here. We're going to Lake Champlain, Plattsburgh, New York. It's 32nd. It's a week from today. through that following Sunday, and I think we're supposed to see more largemouth in that one.
I think we're going to see a lot more largemouth in that one.
Yeah.
Shoot, I think we've seen more largemouth today than we have in all the other St. Lawrence's combined.
Good point. Excellent point.
I think we're going to see less tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes.
Looking forward to that one. That is for sure. That's going to be a good one always. Everyone very much eagerly anticipates a trip to Lake Champlain.
A very strategic tournament. Every time we go there, do you run the Ticonderoga, Missisquoi Bay, the Inland Sea? Always, it's a lot like this. Do you, especially where we're going out of, do you take a right and go up to Waddington, or you take a left and go to the lake? That will always a very strategic tournament.
We were talking about it, Tommy. The guys checking in just a few minutes at 3 o'clock Eastern time. The likes of that first flight would be Clark Wendlandt, Paul Mueller. Those two are in the top 5. Steve Kennedy's doing well. Chris Zaldane, Clifford Perch. Those guys are checking in as well. They're obviously 21 per flight. So 21 in the first flight, and then 21 more need to be doing by 3:20. So it's 20-minute increments.
So we'll go on till 4 o'clock. Anglers coming in and.
Yep, last flight checks in at 4 p.m. Eastern time. The weigh-in should start immediately when we're done here with live.
We'll know at weigh-in time, and when we rejoin you tomorrow morning for more Bassmaster Live, we'll know more about what Paul Mueller, where he was, what he was doing. We'll be in the boat with him.
Go.
Top 8.
Barring
Make a stop on the way back.
Kind of a big task trying to get data from all the anglers today. In the absence of marshals, we can't have marshals because of health concerns, understandably. But here's some of the data that we have got in today. This is all of our 3-pounders plus that have been caught, to our knowledge, from the data we have received, and where they were caught.
And I want to explain to some of the guys who wonder why Paul Mueller is at the top of the leaderboard, but not in the big bass category, even though he has the biggest stringer. When these anglers are implementing their own weights, they are texting their gross total. So they're saying, hey, I have 5 fish for 26 pounds. Whereas Chris Johnston or any of the guys on camera are implementing each individual fish, pinging them as the biggest fish. So it pops in as, hey, I've got 5 for 25, 5 for 26, not I've got 5 for 5 pounders. You know
I guarantee you there are a lot of local experts
Yes.
watching this that we just looked at Galoo, Stony Island, Chameau Bay, Henderson Bay, that really were virtually not even a player here, where traditionally when guys would run to the lake, that is where they run to those islands or those bays. Maybe see them a bigger player tomorrow. I think we will.
So for those places like Chameau Bay, the ones that are open to the southwest winds that we had Sunday and Monday, how long does it take for those shallow bay fish to maybe just regroup back up after pounding waves?
Man. Those fish are used to getting battered and beaten from the waves here, but it only takes a couple hours. And really, a lot of this body of water only takes an hour or two to clean itself.
Well, it has been going hard all day long, especially for selected players like this man, Chris Johnston. Caught that giant first thing this morning. We went out on the water and just kept it going all day.
You know, last year we got to cover Chris Johnston almost the entire tournament, fishing shallow, but really to see him fish deep today and to hear him make the comment, boy, really looking forward to tomorrow. Come hang with us.
Yeah.
It is going to be a special day on Bassmaster.
Seems like a special day every time.
It does.
We come here to St. Lawrence.
I just thought every time.
Yeah, or every time. Well, it is every time, but especially when we come to the St. Lawrence. And tomorrow, bear in mind, the weather being what it is, Lake Ontario will be open for business. So that's one of many reasons.
And we're going all the way through tomorrow.
All the way through. We're starting at 8 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to take you all the way to 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Great day, man. Great day. Good to be back.
Thanks to you all for being with us. So much fun bringing you Bassmaster Live today. We'll be back with more tomorrow. It's going to be great. We'll see you then.